Few quotes. The enemy teaches us to be gluttonous for disrespect. The enemy teaches us to be gluttonous for disrespect. Wanted to say that first because I made the mistake in the previous video. Wanted to correct it. Few more quotes. Erase all negative principalities from thy spirit's moral artboard. Erase all negative principalities from thine spirit's moral artboard. What do I mean by that? When it comes to morals, I can explain that. So, what do I mean by erase all negative principalities from thy moral spiritual artboard? Think about a board for a moment. A board, or a canvas, or grounds, or a foundation, or something in which you can paint and or create something on top of. You follow what I'm saying? Negative principalities. I see 9 of them in total. There are negative principalities in which are painted across our moral or spirit's moral artboard and are causing us to move and or behave in ways that are against our spiritual foundation, our natural divine spiritual foundation. This is for divine discernment, capital discernment. I need to give every melanated man, woman, and child on this planet the ability to hold capital and or divine discernment. Discernment, the ability to point out a difference. The ability to point out a difference. That's what discernment is, or the ability to judge well. Judge well, knowing the differences between what is wrong and what is right, and or what is balanced and or the in-between and or the neutral position and or what is the word? Why someone would abstain, so to speak. Maybe in like a voting process, the in-between. You follow me? The balance and or having the knowledge of both good and evil mastered is what balance is. The knowledge, what's in your knowledge? What's in your foundation of knowledge? You want to know what the foundation of knowledge is? Your moral foundational grounds and or your moral artwork and or your moral board and or your moral canvas and or your moral paintistry. You follow what I'm saying? What's on your moral paintistry? That's another thing. Another quote. We are extraordinary people, but we fear the truth of this. We fear how extraordinary we truly are. That's one thing I've noticed as well. So, I'm just going to explain another thing out loud that I call, once again, the 9 Great Fathers parable. In this 9 Great Fathers parable that I've been explaining in these past couple of videos, the 9 Great Fathers parable. What is it going to do? Each hierarchy slot has a reconnection scenario attached to it. It has a reconnection scenario. Reconnection. What am I trying to reconnect you with? Our divine principles, our natural divine principles. I am saying things out loud that is going to help our people, the melanated people worldwide. If the recessives and or the opposite genetic don't continue doing too much to prevent my message from getting across to the melanated people, I am saying words out loud that'll ensure a helpful reconnection or a strong helping hand and reconnecting us to our natural divine principles. And once we reconnect to our natural divine principles, peace and love, resurrection will occur, unity or unification. And once resurrection occurs, unification occurs, and we all come back to our natural divine senses. We all can't come back to our natural divine senses. We'll have capital discernment of over how this evil, wicked force operates and or what it is doing to hinder our progress. What it is doing to hinder our progress. We'll notice what it is doing to stop us from moving forward properly. And if we choose to, be able to stop it in every area in which it is doing so, whether it is economics and or finance or a financial area, whether it is an area in regards to health, whether it is an area in regards to the mind and how they manipulate our minds into driving us towards a direction we don't need to go towards at all. We'll have capital discernment. It will end or we'll be able to see and judge well and or point out the differences, the major differences in regards to what they are doing in order to drive us in the opposite direction, the opposite of the spirit soul's direction, the opposite of your natural divine principles direction. We want to reside within our natural divine principles, not theirs. They don't have anything natural at all. Everything that they have is man-made, because everything that they have, including all of their cities, all of their infrastructures, all of their cowboys, everything that they have is what they stole from us and are wearing it to disrespect us with. They are wearing it to disrespect us with. Like Adolf Hitler, for example, when he was wearing the swastika sign to create an Aryan race. You want to know what that means by an Aryan race? Meaning he was going to turn every single melanated man, woman, and child on this planet into a white one. That's the long story short in regards to what Adolf Hitler wanted to do. Methed out and everything. I took a closer look at the story of 1941. I already knew of it. I already studied it multiple times. But just a very, very great example. Of course, he's a very foul individual. I'm just going to say that out there for comfort. Throw that out there for comfort. But reality is, Adolf Hitler is a very great example of how the recessive people operate and or think, who just hate us for no reason at all. And you are using what is ours to hate us and disrespect us with. Moving forward. Divine discernment and or reconnecting with our natural principle foundation gives us the ability to stand on something else other than what they want us to stand on. You follow what I'm saying? Standing on our natural divine virtues gives us a chance to stand on something other than the world and or the fake artificial world in which they want us to stand on. We stand on our own grounds, not theirs. We'll continue losing to them on their grounds, but we'll begin beating them on our own grounds. We cannot fight them on their grounds. We can only fight them on our grounds. Our grounds are divine. Their grounds are artificial. Our grounds are natural, came straight from the universe, came straight from source. Their grounds are fake. Their grounds are made up, came straight from the negative source of all things, the devil. You follow what I'm saying? Our foundational grounds come from God. Their foundational grounds come from the devil. Our foundational grounds come from God. Their foundational grounds come from the devil. Choose where you wish to stand. You stand on God's good foundational moral grounds by desiring to have a positive and or moral foundation to stand on internally and or spiritually, meaning your character and or behavioral traits will not be of the type that'll try to kill you and or your neighbor at all. What are some examples of negative foundational traits? Those who enjoy chaos being around them at all times, and or those who can bear a world where chaos and corruption is happening at all times and all throughout it, and yet you are benefiting off of it. Those are what you call negative grounds right there. And virtually all of ye who are in power stand on these grounds, which is why the outcome of reality is what they desire it to be, because it's primarily their grounds we have all been forced and are obligated to grow up upon. Our light was forced to grow up on a world being sealed. Our light was forced to grow up into a world where it was being sealed at all times. Moving forward. So, erase all negative principalities from thy spirit's moral artwork board, or thy spirit's moral painting grounds, or thy spirit's moral painting canvas, moral painted canvas. You follow what I'm saying? What to do after we erase. This is a spiritual parable for how to do better with your character and your behavior. What is character? Character, first, let me tell you this. Character literally defines as the mental and moral qualities, both of them, the mental and moral qualities, distinctive to an individual. The mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. Everyone's an individual, including you. So what are your mental and moral qualities? What contemplates on what thou mental and moral qualities are? Contemplate. What does the word contemplating mean? Or to contemplate, what does that mean? Or the act of thoughtfully taking a look at something for a long time. The act of looking thoughtfully at something for a long time. That's how you pronounce it properly. The act of thoughtfully looking at something for a long time. And what are morals? Morals. The word morals literally defines concerned with the principles of right and wrong behavior and the goodness or badness of human character, of human mental and moral qualities, of human mental and moral qualities. Concerned. The word says concerned, but then there's other. But I see it to be a word that we need to use differently than being concerned with the principles of right or wrong behavior, because the word concerned has multiple definitions, and yet there's only one definition within the word that we only need to apply to this definition that I speak of here. The word concern, it's multiple definitions: to be worried and or anxious and or fearful about something. Why would you want to be worried or anxious or fearful with the principles of right or wrong behavior? What are the principles? Principles, spelt with a PLE at the end, the fundamental truth or proposition, a fundamental truth or proposition. Why would you be fearful of the truth? Worried about the truth? Anxious with the truth? But then you take another look at the definitions of the word concern. You'll find the word awareness within the definitions of the word concern. So my proposition unto us all: remove all of the other definitions of the word concern and just keep the word awareness there. Knowledge of a situation or fact. So knowledge of a situation or fact with the principles or the fundamental truth or proposition that you all hold for a foundation of your system of belief, behavior, and or for a chain of reasoning. The word principle, a fundamental truth or proposition, which serves as the foundation for belief, behavior, or for a chain of reasoning. So, awareness with the principles, awareness with the principles, awareness with the fundamental truth, awareness with the fundamental truth. You have awareness with God's truth. You have awareness with God's truth. You now have awareness with God's truth. Awareness with God's truth of his right and wrong behavior, or its right behavior. It's always a right behavior. And or the goodness or badness of human character. But you have to have the knowledge of both of them. Knowledge of good and evil. That's what it is. That's what morals are. Morals are the knowledge of good and evil. But the thing is, it's a visual word, though, that you must apply. It's a visual word that you have the abilities to apply. Remember, we didn't make up the word morals. We didn't make up that word. It came from the artificial grounds we all stand on. There's probably a different word from our African spirituality that gives us a more spiritually logical way to say it, the word morals. I don't know what it is yet. I will be honest. I don't know everything. And I will proudly admit that I don't know everything. I just know enough that'll get me home. I just know enough to get me home. Home liberation. Ethos. Moving forward. So, awareness with the principles of right and wrong behavior, or the goodness or badness of human character. Visual scope, knowledge of good and evil. Morals, the literal word morals itself is the knowledge of good and evil. The knowledge of good behavior and bad behavior. Good character and bad character. Human character. What is character again? The mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual, distinctive to you. Do you know how thou art? Moral canvas appears unto thee. Do you know where do you stand? Do you know how you stand, or why you stand the way you stand? Do you know why you move the way you move? Do you know how you move? Have you ever recognized and or watched thine own movements before? Have you ever recognized and or seen how thine self operates? Have you? Have you ever asked yourself these questions? Where am I right now currently? How do I behave and or what am I doing and or how am I doing it right now currently? Why am I doing what I am doing currently? Why am I in the situation that I am in right now currently in my life? Have you ever been asked those questions out loud? Have you ever asked those questions to yourself out loud? Have you? Well, I'm just going to ask them for you. Where am I right now currently? How am I right now currently? Why am I right now currently? Why am I the way I am right now currently? Is it all simply because of me? Or were there also extra influences ensuring that I would take the steps I am taking within my life? You follow what I'm saying? Take a look at and or measure all the aspects of how you got from where you were from the beginning of your life, being gifted and born with all of the powers thereof that God gave thee, to the duration of your life, meaning your school years, your elementary school, your middle school, your high school, your some years of college, even if you had them, the duration of your life. And now take a look at the outcomes. All the things that transpired and which gave the outcomes of your life, the outcomes of your life you had from them thereof. You follow what I'm saying? Outcomes. What things transpired or what footsteps transpired in your life, they gave you the certain outcomes you have today. What do morals have to do with why you receive the outcomes you receive? Behavior, what you do, you see? Are you operating from peaceful and or positive balance grounds, or are you operating from chaotic drama grounds? The ones that the artificial opposite gene people desire you to be baptized in 24/7. Whereas your natural self, your root core self, beyond African spirituality even self, does not want you to be this way at all. The opposite of what the evil wants you to be in every way possible. Have you ever analyzed these aspects and or these details about yourself? Have you? Try to analyze them now. What were your footsteps in life? What were your footsteps in life encouraged by or influenced by? Were your footsteps encouraged and or influenced by a force in which wanted you to go in the wrong direction? Or were your footsteps and or your aspects encouraged by something that wants you to go in the right direction? Just ask yourself that question, if you choose to. So, moving along. I have what I like to label and describe as a 9 fathers hierarchy, or a 9 great fathers parable. I've been explaining it a little. I've been explaining it quite a lot. I'm gonna make it quickly in this video here. So I'm just gonna name all 9 of them, give you just each of their brief reconnection scenarios. It's just a fun way to try to reconnect with the divine principles. Let's never forget, I don't have nothing you all have at all. Like I said, all I have is the Google and Bible. I only have an online engine search and a real life engine search. You follow me? That's all I have. Or a real life library, should I say. The Bible is a library. Moving forward. So, the first father on this list, or should I, well, let me explain this first. Life form parable. I need to tell you this. I need to tell you these words. Life form and why this is important. Or spiritual being. Life form and or spiritual being. Life form and or spiritual being. Have you ever noticed this? Life in itself is an entire thing that can be measured. When you step out from a distance and take a look at it from a perspective of a third or spiritual eye view. You follow me? Life is an entire thing in which can be measured. Now, when you get closer to this dimension known as life, when you get closer to it, you'll notice there's about 3 things that can be measured in this dimension known as life. You'll notice that it is a spiritual essence, life is. Life itself is non-physical, living is physical. Life is internal, living is external. Life form. The life is internal, the form is external. When you get closer to this here life, you can recognize about 3 other dimensional things to study within it. You'll notice that life is the stars, the light, and the soul of the universe itself. Meaning life is the stars of the universe, life is the light of the universe, and life is the soul of the universe, all in one. But then you take a look at the form in which the life wears as an avatar, so to speak. you'll notice that the form itself is also a one-dimensional thing to analyze and or recognize and or study. But once you get a closer look at the form, me personally, what I've noticed, the other three things that you can study when you take a closer look at the form, you'll notice that the form has a thought, a feeling, and an action. A thought and or mental state and or mind state and or conscious mind state that you can read by way of their reactions and or how they speak to you and or how they approach you and or the vibes they give off. And the more you know who of you are, the more you know of yourself, meaning your natural divine principle status and your natural divine principle self, your naturally divine moral self, the more you know of that version of you, the more you'll be able to recognize how their disrespect actually approaches you night and day. Remember, they taught you to be gluttonous for disrespect, and they taught you to ignore it and just accept the reality where it is around you night and day. Accept it. They have been teaching us to accept disrespect every generation before we. This is why we tolerate it so much when we shouldn't at all. Not even for a second. Moving forward. So, the negative principalities, where was I? Notice, the more you tap into your divine principle self, the more you'll be able to notice the wicketry that is carried off in front of you thereof. You follow what I'm saying? So, life form. Life form. That's what I was getting at. How life is the spiritual and the form is the being. Spiritual being, life form. They're one and the same thing. Take a look at what's spiritual from a difference, and or take a look at spirit from a distance. You'll notice spirit is just one thing to measure as well. Spirit is just one thing to measure as well. But when you take a closer look at spirit, you'll notice that spirit also has the stars of the universe, the light of the universe, and the soul of the universe all in one. We only got one universe. And then when you take a look at the form itself, you'll notice it has a thought, a feeling, and an action. You see, thoughts, feelings, and actions, or a mental state, a feeling state, a heart state, in other words, because your feelings are your heart, and your heart are your feelings. Your heart of hearts are how you feel. Your heart of hearts is how you feel. Your heart of hearts is how you feel. Your heart of hearts is how you feel moving forward. And then you have a physical body and or an unconscious mind. Unconscious mind? Yes, you have a conscious mind, a subconscious mind, and an unconscious mind. What is the unconscious mind? Thine physical body. Think about it for a moment, if you would. If there was no life in you, what would you be? Unconscious. It's due to your subconscious mind and your conscious mind that your body has consciousness. Meaning it can function and move as God intended it to function and move, not how the devil desired and or intended it to move. You follow me? But without the God, without the power of God within thine vessel becomes unconscious, yes? Therefore, this physical body we hold and or we harbor, it is an unconscious mind. You follow me? Whereas the heart of hearts is the subconscious mind, and the light thereof, or the conscious mind, is the light of the universe thereof. Subconscious mind, soul of the universe. Conscious mind, light of the universe. Physical body, unconscious mind. Your body is still as a constituent with the universe, and this here Nine Great Fathers parable is also going to help reconnect you with that idea. This is why I made it up too. Another reason why I made this Nine Great Fathers parable up. It's just father energy. Our father energies, our great heavenly father's energy is source. You follow me? It is the soul of the universe and the light of the universe and the stars of the universe in one as well. That's what the great father energy is. And that's what these parables are for. It's a lot of things I have to say out loud in order to give you the full grasp and or understanding in regards to why I'm constantly telling you about this parable, this one parable. This is the third or fourth video that I have made now talking about the same parable. I haven't moved on to the next parable yet. I know. There's two ways to explain the Nine Fathers parable, through what can be labeled and described by our, I want to say, or predecessor still, Enodea Judith. She labeled and described two ways to two currency frequencies in which we can speak to each other within, and or two styles to label and describe the display of the chakra hierarchy. You can label and describe it from the spirit to the flesh. She considers that to be known as the current of manifestation, or the frequency of manifestation. When you think currents, think frequency. Then you also have, because let's not forget, we're talking about chakras here. So we're talking about frequencies, we're talking about energies, we're talking about the vital life force of the human being. Whenever we talk about chakras, this is what we are talking about, because what a chakra literally is, each of the centers of spiritual power in the human body, usually considered to be 7 in number, but it's infinite. Because all the planets are chakras, all the stars are chakras, meaning they're spiritual powers. The planets are a spiritual power. You are a spiritual power. You are a spiritual being. I am a spiritual being. I am a spiritual power. We all are. Same thing. Everyone and everything is the same thing. And/or we are all connected to the same source. If you are of a natural species. If you are a fake species, like cows and chickens and whatnot, you necessarily won't be classified, and/or nature won't exactly feel you the way you should be felt. Some things will avoid you. You'll be repulsive to them. Nature is repulsed by what is fake and made up. It's repulsed by it, if you ever noticed it. Moving forward. So, the 9 Great Fathers parable, life form. You all, humanity, are my home, and I seek home liberation through you, but I can only manifest home liberation through you if you completely grasp this moral concept here. If you completely grasp this naturally moral world ethos that I am offering unto thee as a proposition for you to work with, function with, provide with, structure with, build on top of, and/or build upon. You follow what I'm saying? Home liberation. It's all about home liberation for me. Home liberation. Now, that's what this life form description, I don't like to say illustration, that's what this life form parable that I'm telling you about, spiritual being life form parable that I'm telling you about, it's going to give you more concrete validation, or more concrete context in regards to how we can manifest liberation or home liberation. Speaking to you from the current of liberation. I'm going to be labeling and describing the father chakra hierarchy from the physical to the spirit real quickly when I get ready to. So here, home liberation parable, life form, spiritual being, life form, spiritual being. The spirit in itself is all for peace, love, unity, and advancement, and it houses itself in all of humanity. The spirit, the divine essence of our universe itself, has housed itself in all of our physical body vessel avatars. You follow what I'm saying? And the thing is, due to the negative foul principalities laced upon its moral artboard groundwork, due to these negative principalities, they are preventing and/or hindering the spirit soul's abilities from expressing. You follow what I'm saying? The negative principalities drawn across our morals, our spirit's moral artboard, or art grounds, or artwork, are hindering it from expressing. So, I came up with this parable as well. Or, before I go back to it, let me say this. Well, it all ties. So, due to me expressing this parable to you, the video is going to be sizable again. Due to me expressing this parable to you, It gives you a way you can reconnect with the original principality of the universe so that the other ones would dissipate and or you would tap into the energy of being able to let go of what you no longer need or want. You follow what I'm saying? Reconnecting with our divine principle gives you the ability to let go of what you no longer need or want, meaning erasure of the 9 negative principalities plaguing our mind heart spaces right now currently. This is how I'm going to take an approach to helping us. Like I said, the only thing I can do right now is give all of you proper understanding of how to stand on morally good grounds, not morally artificial grounds, morally good grounds. Just because you got morals and or you have knowledge of what morals are, that doesn't give you the end all be all, I'm gonna win now card. You follow what I'm saying? No, you have to have more details. There are moral grounds to stand on. You follow what I'm saying? Now, what makes something immoral? Whatever your moral grounds were established to be, meaning if you establish these grounds to be good and positive or balanced and good for you to walk upon, if you step outside of those balanced and good grounds you drew upon or your society accepted to be as a whole, that would be considered immorality. Because once you step outside of them, you're stepping against what you built. Or no, you're stepping against yourself overall. You follow what I'm saying? Stop fighting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Moving forward. So, the real quick, all 9 of them, from the physical to the spirit, all 9 of them. The spirit needs to express through the body or through the people. The spirit needs to express through the individuals that I am giving this information to, if anyone will ever see it. We need to allow our spirits to express through us. The 9 Great Fathers parable is going to help us do this. The first on the list, on the hierarchy, and the reconnection scenario thereof, the life and or the spiritual part of the first slot would be considered and or labeled and described as the Earth Star Chakra. The Earth Star Chakra is the first life on the list in the form, meaning the father thereof, in which gives proper, I want to say, medium for the reconnection parable or for the reconnection scenario to take place. I put my own brother and some characteristics from his story on this list here. And the characteristics of my brother that I place on this list: ignorance. But here's the thing though, we're all ignorant to some degree. Everybody is. We were all raised to be so, especially millennials. Anyone born from the years 1985 to the years 1995, you have grown up on a world that is not yours the entire time. You have been getting lied to your entire life. I have a lot of patience for you spiritually, just none physically anymore at all. So, I just want to tell you this parable that'll help reconnect everyone or reconnect you all with divine principles as soon as I possibly can, or at least help kickstart it. First one, life, Earth Star Chakra, form, my brother, who's a great father as well, and or will be a better father after this parable helps reconnect. The sin of this hierarchy slot. This is the entire reconnection scenario I'm labeling and describing to you. I just have to hurry up. The sin on this hierarchy parable is ignorance. Once my brother achieves more knowledge of who and or what he is, meaning once he reconnects to divine principle, and everybody alive reconnects with divine principle, it doesn't matter what your genetic class is, really doesn't. These are the type of words that'll protect the Donald Trump. Y'all need to give him a chance. Your ignorance and your desires for chaos are what drive you to fight him so much, and what he truly chooses to do here. Because of your ignorance, you are unaware of the reality that Donald Trump is simply trying to bring America back to normal. But let's never forget, the country was built off of chaos and immorality, and that immorality was based on what is outside of the spirit soul's morality. So, when chaos, like Kamala Harris and or Joe Biden within the last 4 years were introduced into this world or introduced into this country, You all bathed yourselves in the chaos that built this country to begin with. Now here comes somebody like Donald Trump that's trying to reduce the chaos back to some set of normality. Some set of normality. And all of you do is fight him and boycott and go against and tarnish. All you do. That's because you want the chaos. You want it. The only problem that Donald Trump is bringing you right now currently is the artificial intelligence, which is what I personally, with my desires and my movement, will defeat. The natural intelligence movement. My brother could be a natural intelligence movement once he gets smart enough. You all could be natural intelligence movement thought leaders if you become intelligent enough. Black and white, natural intelligence movement thought leaders. Why do I say black and white when I'm ready to drop the colors in the divisive language and all of that stuff? Simple. Cause I can already see in the future the so-called white people already trying to create a competition between the regular gene pool and the non-regular gene pool. A war and or some type of I'm better than you in regards to the natural intelligence movement thought leaders of both genetic classes, if that makes sense to you moving forward. So the first life, Earth Star Chakra, the form, my brother, the Great Father, the sin of this hierarchy slot is ignorance. The reconnection scenario, once you know better, you will do better. Moving forward, root chakra. Here's where it gets nerdy and or video game-ish like. The next one, life, root chakra, form. From the video game known as Tekken, Kazuya Mishima. What's the sin of this slot here? Greed. Greed is the sin of this slot. Now, what's the reconnection scenario? In the video game known as Tekken 4, Kazuya said these lines right here. I am what you would refer to as devil. That's what Kazuya said in the video game known as Tekken 4. I am what you would refer to as devil. This is the reconnection scenario of this Great Father slot here. So, I take a look at real life. I look at what you all deem as evil. Remember, all of your accepted standards of morality come from the devil and the devil's artwork alone. All of your accepted standards of morality come from the devil's artwork. All of them do. And it's due to your ignorance you accept such evil in your lives. And due to your artwork being of the devil's, your moral artwork grounds being of the devil's, anything outside of the devil's art grounds you would consider as evil. I stand firmly outside of the devil's artwork in every way possible or in any way imaginable that you can think of. Long story short, I stand for peace, love, unity, and advancement, while the devil stands for war, hatred, division, and stagnates in peace. Meaning me. Therefore, because I will never stand on the same type of grounds you all stand on ever in any format of history possible, you would consider someone like me as evil in your world. You would consider someone like me in your world to be the devil. And due to your world being so disgusting and reject-worthy, I accept this title wholeheartedly. Therefore, I am what you would refer to as devil. I am what you would refer to as devil. More context though, because see, in real life, you all feel like Satan or a being named Satan is the actual devil here, when in reality, he is not at all. You also have stories like Satan took a third of the angels with him when he rebelled against your evil tyrannical God. When Satan rebelled against your evil tyrannical God in the book of Revelation, your evil tyrannical God killed Satan and as well as the third of the angels and or the stars of heaven as they fell. Remember in the story, it said that Satan, when he rebelled against God, he took a third of the angels with him. That's because he and a third of the angels were slaughtered. In her last hour of power, look at the story more closely so you can gain the actual truth here. Satan was not evil. Satan was the opposite of evil in every way possible. Satan is an archangel. You know what an archangel is? Arch. The word arch, meaning chief, chief meaning controller or in command, and the word angel meaning a spiritual being. So in other words, Satan was a chief spiritual being. I am also a spiritual being in control of mine own spiritual being. So that would also make me an archangel. But here's the thing, the knowledge of an archangel is connection to divine principle. This natural divine principle connection. Remember, everything connected to the natural divine principle in this reality and yours, you classify as evil. I ain't never coming off of natural divine principles ever again in my life. So I am what you would refer to as devil. Plain and simple. Moving forward. The third slot on this hierarchy here. What's the life? What's the form? What's the sin? And what's the reconnection scenario? The life, sacral chakra, the form, my actual father, the sin, lust, and the reconnection scenario, virtues. If we were all taught to stand on virtues our entire lives, then none of us would have done unto our children what any of us have done unto them at all. But why were we not taught to stand on virtues? Because we were all taught to stand on the world's negative principalities, not our natural divine virtues. That's the significance in the reconnection scenario with this one right here. What does the word virtues literally mean? In traditional Christian angelology, the seventh highest order of a ninefold celestial hierarchy. What's the celestial hierarchy? The 9 choirs of angels. So if virtues is the 7th slot, that means it would be the 3rd from the highest, correct? Or it would be the 3rd from the lowest, correct? So when you count angels, then archangels, and then it'll be virtues, not principalities. We were lied to about everything. So virtues being the artwork of the sacral chakra, our physical subconscious mind. Virtues being the artwork of our subconscious, our physical subconscious mind. If those were our teachings growing up, meaning from my father when he was young, in his starting days, coming into the world, if he was taught to stand on naturally divine good virtues, not only would there be a high likely chance that I would have never been born, but how I would have been raised would have been a lot different in every way possible. Every way possible. Why do I say there's a high likely chance that I would have never been born if we were all raised on good virtues? Because all of the things that my father went through in his life, he would not have went through it all, which led him to my mother. Long story short. That's the life, sacral chakra, the form, the great father, my father, or who was going to be a great father, who is going to be bound to greatness when I am done with your mind, heart space, if you live long enough to experience this. The sin is lust. Do whatever connection story you can in regards to that saga there. And then the reconnection scenario. The truth about the virtues angel. The truth about the virtues angel. How it's the 7th slot, not the 5th. It's the 7th slot, not the 5th. Moving forward. The 4th angel, or the 4th slot now. The life, the form, the sin, and the reconnection scenario. What are they for the 4th slot of this hierarchy? The life, the solar plexus chakra. The form, another video game character. Akuma. The sin, gluttony. In the reconnection scenario, the what if story regarding him. It's going to tie in. So I got this what if scenario in my head, right? About Akuma. So, check it. He used to be a Goki, right? He was a Goki before he was an Akuma, right? So, in the Tekken lore, or in the Street Fighter lore right now, currently, everybody believes that Ryu is Akuma's son. Or a lot of people have been speculating this for years. And you want to know something? I believe he was. And I'm just going to say he was, especially just so I can ensure that he has an ability to be added unto this great father slot hierarchy listing. So, if Ryu or Akuma is Ryu's father, then who would Ryu's mother be? I predict that Ryu's mother is Kazumi from Tekken. This is what I predict. This is my prediction, my what-if scenario to make this reconnection story a bit more effective. You'll see what I mean in a moment. Just two things primarily. So it says in the Tekken lore that Akuma received a favor from Kazumi at one point in their history. And then I also speculate that what if Kazumi from Tekken left Heihachi for like a year or two, right? And they met up with each other. And she had an affair with Goki. Kazumi had an affair with Goki. And Goki was experiencing shifts after the fight with Goken from that devil form to his regular human form, right? But the thing is, when he met up with Kazumi, she helped him stabilize into that form, just like our women help us do in real life. Our women in real life help us balance out. They help us balance out in real life. Another reconnection scenario there. So, long story short, due to Kazumi helping Akuma balance into that form and or go from Goki to Akuma and stay there now, but she helped him stabilize in that form. A baby came out of it, Ryu, almost as if like he gave the last bit of his pure self to that baby, or through that baby, Ryu. That's the last bit of his pure self. This is just a little scenario you could throw out there. But then here's another thing though. Akuma's character, he's a gluttonous for fighting. Gluttonous for fighting. This world teaches you to be a gluttonous for disrespect. You can be a gluttonous for anything. You could be. It's not just about food, even though this is landing on the solar plexus chakra, and we're talking about gluttony. And solar plexus physically for us is the stomach, but when you look at it from a cosmic perspective, it's our conscious mind. You follow what I'm saying? So the thing is, Akuma's a gluttonous for fighting. So why do I want to put this characteristic spirit in your mind? Think about it for a moment. The spirit works automatically. The spirit works in auto ways. The spirit works in an auto way, automatically. It automatically helps you. It automatically serves you, right? So the characteristical trait of a fighting spirit being lunged into your mind in a world where everything is attacking your mind endlessly, nonstop, night and day, ensuring that it puts the wrong way into your mind by any means necessary at all. Not moral means. They don't operate on morals. They operate on what's ours and use it against us. They operate on our power and use it against us. What does the word power mean? Power literally defines as the ability to do something or act in a particular way. And in traditional Christian, or especially as a faculty or quality, and in traditional Christian angelology, the fourth highest order of a ninefold celestial hierarchy. No, it's not the fourth. Said that wrong. In traditional Christian angelology, power defines as the sixth highest order. No, I'm saying it wrong again. Let me just recount it. Actually, I was correct. Because if you go from the spirit to the flesh, it'll land on the sixth. But if you go from the flesh to the spirit, it'll land on the fourth. So yeah, I was correct. It's the sixth highest order of a ninefold celestial hierarchy, if you count it from the spirit to the flesh. But I'm counting something from the flesh to the spirit right now. So I'm on the fourth slide here, counting from the flesh to the spirit. It's the sixth highest order still, though, regardless, no matter what. Powers are. So the ability to do something or act in a particular way, especially as a faculty or quality, our abilities to do something are being used against our abilities to do something right now currently. Our abilities to do something are being used against our abilities to do something right now. What are our abilities to do something? Natural, divine, principle, grounds. Natural, divine, principle, grounds. Naturally, moral world ethos or ethos. Naturally, moral world ethos. What does the word ethos means? The characteristic spirit of culture, era, or community as manifested in the characteristic spirits, beliefs, and aspirations. What does the word characteristic mean again? The mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual, meaning depending on what style of art, moral art ground you stand on, whether it be positive and balanced and or just sheer negative. Whatever those characteristical spirits is, those mental and moral quality those mental and moral aspects, whatever they are, we manifested within thine era, community, and or beliefs and aspirations. You follow me? So, due to this energy always attacking ours, you have to fight it out. Me putting a characteristical spirit of a gluttonous for fighting in a sense in thine conscious mind, thy physical conscious mind, gives it a chance to beat the demons out of the gives it the chance to beat the demons out of them. Andor helps it erase the negative principalities just by me mentioning so much solar plexus chakra and divine principle and how reconnection scenario, just by me mentioning all of these things out loud, gives us the power we need to erase the negative principalities from our moral artboard. If you take a listen to this point, or if you can read between the lines of all the nerd talk and the geek and the video game and the stories and whatnot, if you can hear between the lines, if you can hear between the frequencies, or if you can hear between what may be confusion to you in the currency, hear between it, moving forward. The next slot, make it faster. This is the fifth slot now. The fifth slot on this list. It is life, form, sin, and reconnection scenario, or reconnection story. It's actually my favorite part to talk about. So my tone kind of drops a little bit into the subtleness of the nature thereof. So the fifth one on this hierarchy listing, the life, is the heart chakra. The life is the heart chakra. The form, or the father, because the spirit is great. The life is great. Life is great, spirit is great. But the form is the father. The physical form is the father on this hierarchy listing talk right here. The form is the father. And the fifth father on this hierarchy listing, Vegeta from Dragon Ball. What's the sin of this here lining right here? Pride, of course. And what is the reconnection story or reconnection scenario? One simple line, pride for the soul race. The heart of hearts chakra is the prince of the soul race. The heart of hearts chakra is the prince of all humans. The heart of hearts chakra is the prince of all of the human race. Lines like that, you follow what I'm saying? As well as his ultra ego explanation, how reality bashes ego so much and so thoroughly. And ego is a sense of self-esteem and or a sense of self-importance. And there is nothing in the world at all that wants you to have that. Especially if you are a man. Nothing in the world wants you to have self-esteem. Nothing in the world wants you to have self-importance, especially if you are a man, and primarily if you are a man only. But here's the thing though, even though they bash the ego so much and attack it so much night and day, trying to get rid of it out of your spiritual consciousness, they're trying to attack something you didn't even know it was there. You didn't even know it was there, and they just be attacking it. That lets you know how evil and backwards the world is today. You follow what I'm saying? So the ultra ego Vegeta in the show, when that form of his gets attacked, what does it do? Come back stronger, yeah? And you in real life, when your sense of self-esteem or sense of self-importance gets attacked, and you don't commit suicide from it because they're attacking such a sensitive area all the time without you even realizing it, what do? Come back stronger, yeah? When you don't take your own well-being from you, the heart of hearts ain't trying to take your life. Why would you take your life from it? Why would you take your vessel away from the heart of hearts when it is not trying to take you away from its vessel? As within, so throughout. Soul pride. Pride for the soul race. The soul is the prince of the soul race. The heart of hearts is the prince of all the soul race. The heart of hearts is the prince of the soul race. What do I mean by this? Prince. The word principality, randomly just throwing it in there, as I've done all the other angel hierarchies so far, just to make it make more sense. The reconnection scenario, remember? When you look up the word principality, it defines as a state ruled by a prince. It could be a negative prince, a positive prince, or a balanced prince. It could be the prince of peace, or it can be the prince of darkness. A state ruled by a prince, right? What kind of state is my heart of hearts in? Peace. My heart of hearts is a loving, integral, progressive energy, and it does this in peace night and day, meaning without disturbance. The word peace defines as freedom from disturbance, tranquility, freedom from wars, or a period where war has ended. There is no war going on in my spirit right now. There is no jealousy going on in my spirit right now. You want to know what's going on in my spirit? What is giving me my life and my abilities to function improperly, not what is telling me to fight myself and take my life. Negative moral grounds and or negative principalities, negative moral artwork tells you to take your own life and destroy your own self. Don't do what the devil wants you to do. Do what God wants you to do. It's natural. Moving forward. The heart of hearts is the prince of the soul race, principalities, prince of a state ruled by a prince, and or in traditional Christian angelology, the fifth highest order of a ninefold celestial hierarchy, meaning it lands directly on the heart chakra. Principalities, the principalities, angels land directly on the heart chakra. The reconnection scenario with this, soul pride, it's two simple words. Moving forward. May you have grasped all of that. I need to make it quicker though. The next slot on this list. The life, the form, the sin in the reconnection scenario. The life on this one. The throat chakra. The form on this hierarchy slot. Another nerd video game like Vegeta was as well. Asura's Wrath from the Asura's Wrath video game. And what is the sin? Wrath, of course. So what's the reconnection scenario? Simple. Erasing the negative principalities from thy mind, heart, space. If you notice in the characteristics of the Asura's Wrath game, what happened in that game? Asura's Wrath essentially went beast mode on all of the 7 deities in the game who were governing the world. Well, my voice is going to do the same thing, go crazy and dominate all negative principalities within our mind, heart spaces. And you're going to see how more effectively in just a moment. Just a parable, man. Just a parable to throw it out there. They're going to dominate the 9 principalities. My voice is going to dominate the 9 principalities. Dominate. Why am I saying dominate and erase? Dominate and erase the 9 negative principalities within our mind, heart spaces. Why am I saying dominate and erase? Because notice where it is landing. Dominions, angel. Dominions. Another term for domination. Domination in traditional Christian angelology, the 4th highest order of a ninefold celestial hierarchy. When you count it from the flesh, when you count it from the spirit to the flesh, the 4th dominion's angel lands directly on the throat chakra. Your abilities to express your power and or control and or influence over others. And don't be fronting like you got the manpower. Like, whoa. Moving forward. So that's the reconnection scenario there. My voice and or using my actions throughout the rest of my life, meaning I will not do anything else other than what these goals are here. Dominate the negative principalities within our mind, heart spaces and erase them completely. No more plaguing our mind, heart spaces. The only thing that belongs in our mind, heart spaces is the mind, heart space and the mind, heart itself. That's it. The spirit, which is the life. Life is the mind, heart. The form is the body in which the mind, heart wears and is housed within. And we need to allow it to express liberation, home liberation, soul freedom, soul pride, soul coexistence. Moving forward. The next slide. Cue my Eric Killmonger music. So, the next slot. The next great father. Who's the life? Who's the form? What's the sin? And what's the reconnection scenario? The life, the third eye chakra, or the ajna. There wasn't a J in the Hebrew alphabet. There wasn't a J until 600 years ago. So why is it called ajna? What was it called before ajna? So, third eye chakra is the life, the form, Eric Killmonger, or Christ itself. Do you see Eric Killmonger as Jesus? Yes. I see you all as Jesus. So what? Moving forward. What's the sin? Sloth. What's the reconnection scenario? The sun will never set upon the Wakandan Empire. The sun will never set upon the Wakandan Empire. Explaining that, what does that mean? That means the sun will never set. It'll never set, meaning it'll never go down, meaning the light will always be in the sky, shining and giving us guidance. Simple as that. At the end of this story, all of my positive fathers are going to fuse with Eric Killmonger, and all of the negative principalities are going to fuse with the next one that they came with, and they're going to duke it out in the end, meaning the balanced energy and the negative energy in the spirit are just going to duke it out for control in the end. Balance is going to win, of course. I'm giving it infinite plot armor. Then the next father on the list, speaking of, what's the life? What's the form? What's the sin? What's the reconnection scenario? The life, crown chakra. The father, Yahweh, Yahweh Allah, Kaidios, Yahja Khan, or Jehovah Ma'at and Lil Isis, the spirit of jealousy. What's the sin? Jealousy. What's the reconnection scenario? Once my Eric Killmonger in my head fuses with all of the other positive fathers, and then that demon fuses with all of the negative principalities, they are going to fight, and he is going to win and toss her off of a cliff, or toss it off of a cliff, and it ain't coming back this time. Because I'm going to toss it into a volcano. Tekken story. Like I said, I'm going to combine them all together. Now, final. To close out the video, because I'm running out of time again. Final. The life. Soul Star Chakra. The forms. Black Lightning. The sin, fear, and the reconnection scenario, eliminate fear. Eliminate fear. Fear of the heart is the ignorance of the Most High God. Fear of the heart is the ignorance of the Most High God. Because once you eliminate your ignorance of the heart, your fear of God will dissipate. I guarantee you it will. You don't need to fear anything. It's a bad emotion and it's controlling emotion. Shalom, shalom, shalom.